Hey Facebook, covering my face. Hey Facebook, this is Rich Fontaine with another daily motivation. Hey Miriam, how's it going? 365 days of consistency, doing the same things over and over again until they become habit. And thank you. So we've reached 160 episodes. We're halfway there. So that's cool that we gone this far and that we're still chucking and running. And that we're only 20 episodes, 40 episodes from 200. So it's pretty cool. Hey Nancy, how's it going? Hi Jazz, how's it going? And if I don't shout you out, that means I just can't see you. But I do appreciate you taking your time to watch this either live or later on. So today I want to talk about imagination. Imagination. Hey Catherine, how's it going? Imagination is more important than the facts. You know, Albert Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge. Why? Because, hey, good morning, Miriam. Knowledge is only reference points of things that have been learned or things that have been seen. See, many times we look at what's happening in our current circumstances and we say this is it. But really it's just a chapter in a large book. So though something may be happening now, that does not mean that is the reality. That is the book. That is just a chapter within the book. These are just steps to get you to the place within your journey of where you want and need to go. So I tell this story about a famous scientist. And I had to learn about him in physics. And I saw an episode about him in Cosmos. And I was very astounded about this man's story because I didn't know. I just knew he was a famous scientist, like an electrical scientist. I didn't know where he came from. See, he started as a kid very poor. Both his parents were immigrants and they were poor in this country. And so he had to go to work as a child to help produce for his parents. And he worked underneath this tyrant, this guy that just was very cheap. He didn't want to pay labor, but he wanted to overwork his employees. And this is the time before labor laws. So he would be in the hot furnace throwing coal every single day, getting smut on his face and dirt in his nails, and he would come home just tired and exhausted, working 12, 14, 15-hour days. But he always had this dream to be a scientist. And so every day he would use his imagination. He would see himself as a famous scientist. Even when he was down burning the coal, he would use his imagination and imagine himself in the lab, looking through the telescope, trying to understand new facts. Now, understand something. The facts say that's impossible. You're a poor immigrant. You don't know, you have no education, you have no resources, you have no help. You don't know anybody. And you work under this tyrant that burns you every single day, working 14, 15 hours a day, 6 days to 7 days a week. So the facts say, listen kid, it's never going to happen. There's no reason even imagining this. But his imagination, his spirit said, keep seeing yourself there. Just keep seeing yourself there. Now, a year or two passed of him starting this process. Now, things don't always happen like that, but he was consistent and steadied with his imagination, seeing the process. One day, the entire facility gets caught on fire, and the entire roof collapses. Again, the owner was very cheap. He didn't want to pay for good material, so the entire roof collapsed after this fire. And he was caught underneath it. Luckily, the king of the town found out this whole thing was going on, so he came over to help the people uplift this rubble. And that's when he found the kid. The kid was unconscious. So he took the kid to his palace. And once the kid comes to, he says, hey, you know, what are you going to do now since the facility has been destroyed? And he said, well, I don't really know what I'm going to do. He said, what do you want to do? He said, well, my dream is to become a famous scientist. He said, really? He said, would you like to start working as an intern in the lab? The kid said, yes, I would love to work as an intern in the lab. And that internship in the lab actually made him the famous scientist he became. See, the facts say you're poor. The facts say it'll never happen. The facts say you have a terrible job. The facts say that you should be upset every day. Look how much this guy's working you. The facts say you don't have the resources. You don't know anybody that could get you in the lab. The facts say you don't have education. Nobody's going to hire you. That's what the facts say. But his imagination said, I see myself there. I see myself doing all the things that I want and are willing to do. And so what happened? The universe works in its mysterious ways and created that opportunity for him. So when I created the book, The Nerd Who Saved the Universe, I wanted to illustrate to people the power of imagination, the power of seeing yourself at the place you want to be before you get there. It was Albert Einstein who said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Hey, Sophia. Hey, Sue. Hey, Catherine. It's more important than knowledge. And when you can project yourself into your future using your imagination, you are creating that creative force that you have. You know, God said, let's make man in our image. And what is God? A creative force. So you have the same creative forces using through your imagination. They always say things happen twice. Once in the mind and then again in reality. So first you have to see yourself in that imaginary state before you could see yourself into that reality. And so that's what happens with Ernest. Ernest has an illustration and shows, using his imagination, how he got over his obstacles, how he came over his bullies. Every one of us have obstacles. It may be bullies, it may be something else. Hey Dream, how's it going? But whatever obstacle you're going through, it can be overcome by using your imagination. And that's what Ernest does in the book. He uses his own imagination to get over the hump and see himself better than he was previously. I'll even do a quick personal story. I remember it was 2000 and I can't remember. It was several years back, about 5 years ago, when me and Jazz first got back together. We lived in this small apartment that had black mold. The property manager wouldn't do anything in the house, and things started getting destroyed in the house, and he wouldn't fix anything. And the reality said, man, we're living in this beat down apartment trying to come up and trying to do all these things. And, you know, our reality said, you know, this sucks. But we never really saw it that way. We always kept watching ourselves to keep our emotions in check, understanding that this was just a chapter. It wasn't the full book. It was just a chapter within that book. So we stayed positive. We said, hey, we put on our vision board this beautiful townhouse that we wanted to live on. And we kept looking at this townhouse every day in our vision board and saying, you know, that's where we're going to live. That's where we're going to live. Right now is just right now, but where we're going is there. And again, we're learning, at this time, we're learning the law of attraction. We're learning what our mentors are teaching us. We're trying to understand it and master it. And so we end up leaving that apartment into a small house. But this wasn't the townhouse we wanted. But we were still content. Why? Because we said, I am happy with the now. There's power in being content, happy with the now, what's happening now. I'm good. We have a roof over our heads. We can't complain. And the house was actually right next to my job at the time. So it worked out. Fast forward to a year after, our landlord just suddenly said, hey, I'm not renewing your lease. There was no real big reason why. He just said, we're not doing it. So we said, fine, and we were back against the wall. We had 30 days to move out. And so we're going online, we're going to all the different places to look for a place to live. And then finally we found this beautiful townhouse. It looked exactly like the picture we had on our wall. And we said, hey, you know, we don't have much for a down payment. They said, hey, we're running a special. 0 down payment, 0 deposit. Really? Yeah, sign up today. Boom. And now we live into that beautiful townhouse that we wanted to live in. See, our imagination, our projection of the future attracted the things that we want into our lives. So most people get bogged down in what's happening now. My advice and what I do in my own life is what's happening now is old. All what's happening now is a summation of your thoughts and actions and feelings of the past. So whatever you're projecting now will determine your future. So even if you're living in a bad house now, a terrible apartment, you don't like where you live, be happy and content with it. And keep projecting in your imagination the future that you want. The job, keep projecting that future. The career, keep projecting that future. The spouse, keep projecting that future. People don't realize I had a picture of a woman that looked like Jasmine in my vision board, because I said, this is my type. This is the person. This is the kind of look I want to marry. And lo and behold, same thing for her. So your imagination is powerful. The thing is, they don't teach us how powerful our imagination is as we're growing up. We just think it's just, hey, get out of your head. Get out of your daydream. Stop imagining things. Get down to reality. But those are people that don't know that they were here to create reality. You are a creative being, and you create through your imagination how you see yourself, how you see your self-image, how you believe about yourself. That self-esteem is the most important thing to get what you truly want out of life. If you cannot see yourself there now, that there will not happen. So wherever you are, it doesn't matter how much money you have, what spouse you have, what resources you have, if you can project your imagination into the image of what you want, that image has to be manifested. It has to. But the trick is to be good with the now. To be content with the now. Whatever's happening right now, say this is part of the journey, I'm good with it. I don't doubt the universe. I don't doubt the cosmos. I don't think the gods are making mistakes. I don't believe that. I believe everything is for a reason. And so I believe in that. So knowing everything's for a reason, I just guide myself to the image of good now, but I'm projecting what I want in the future. By using your imagination, you can create your own reality. You can create everything and anything that you want. I'm a living example, but it happens in time. But you have to use your imagination. Just visualize yourself, see yourself there. And I promise you, in time, it shall manifest. If you could keep the positive, if you could keep good with the now. Because all the now is getting you to that future. So if something's happening now, I look at it as it's happening for me, not to me. That means it's leading me. Again, when my landlord, property manager said, hey, we're not renewing your lease, I'm thinking at the time, wow, that's negative, that's a bad thing. But what happened, that negative led me to the positive dream that I wanted. And it will happen for you too. So I advise, this book is The Nerd Who Saved the Universe. It's people say it's for kids. I wrote it for kids, but I like adults can read it too. If you ever read The Alchemist is kind of for kids. But as an adult, I fell in love with the book. So this is a great book if you need to know how to project yourself into the future that you want. It will happen. It will manifest for you. But you have to steadfast and hold on to the vision. Les used to say this to me. Hold on to the vision by using your imagination and seeing yourself, seeing the things you want into reality now. Not in the future, but in reality right now. Again, this is Rich Fontaine with Power Self Entertainment. Either you could agree with me or not agree with me. But either way, I feel this was a successful conversation. Jim, thank you for commenting. Darlisha, thank you for commenting. Carmen, thank you for watching. Thank you, everyone. Take your time to watch this. I hope this served you well. This is what I do in my own life. I just stay good with the now, and I project in my imagination where I want to go. And lo and behold, I promise you, those things start to manifest in my life. And it will manifest into your life. This is law. This is nothing that I'm special. I'm not special. I just follow the law. So if I know if it could happen for me, I'm most definitely positive and guarantee it could happen for you. But those three things, like Darlisha said, you got to be patient. You just have to be good with the now. That's number 2. Be good with what's happening right now. But Rich, the world is coming to an end. No, it's not. It really isn't. You just have to be happy with the now, knowing that there is no mistakes. Everything is leading to the right place. It's just sometimes with man, we have to go through some dark to get to the light. The dark ages boomed the Renaissance ages. People don't understand. The dark ages boomed the Renaissance ages. So it doesn't matter what's happening now. You just got to be good with the now. And then project where you want to be, who you want to be, what you want to see, what you want to have, what you want to manifest, and keep that steady in your imagination. And when you close your eyes, see yourself there now. Love is love. I appreciate all of you. Shop with Miriam. Thank you, Jib. Thank you, Jazz. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Namaste.